Hello, good morning everybody. Here's my take on some news yesterday about patients expecting GPs to heal their souls. They're saying because the church's role declines. Anyway, Chris Smith, the health editor of the Times, had been talking to Alistair Appleby, a GP, who carried out the study of his colleagues' attitude to spirituality in Scotland, and he discovered that the doctors were sort of fairly bad at it. And as a consequence, they weren't making the human connection. I think in the past it was thought that doctors actually worked with vicars or rectors or whatever. But now they seem to be dismissing spirituality as incoherent because they didn't believe in organised religion. However, I think maybe it's not about organised religion or anything like that. It's actually more about the emotional side of disease. So you've got an emotional, physical barrier to all of these diseases that we get. And patients are finding, they're lacking meaning and purpose in life. So how can a doctor help deal with that? I was really glad to see that Dr. Michael Dixon, chairman of the College of Medicine, of which I'm a member, was able to say, because he believes in broadening the social focus of treatment, and he said in the past there'd been a lot of mutual referral between GPs and vicars, as I said earlier, and he thought that family doctors needed to rediscover the place in the community. So we've got to acknowledge that people have a spiritual level. That spiritual level, I think, might not necessarily be to do with religion. I think we are spiritual beings, or quite a lot of us are. I think I am. And we need to make sure that we get this right for the future. And what I'm thinking about it, I've spoken before about the brain and the fat in the brain and the communication of the cells in the brain, and how they have to your cells have to be very flexible to provide that function. And it seems to me that what doctors are running up against is the fact that we're not actually getting to grips with this very well. We've got lots of children who have body image problems, they cut themselves, and if you look in the bigger picture, we've got huge amounts of crime going on, stabbing people and all of those things. And is it just because we're not taking advantage of the fact that food, we've got to learn about food to feed our brain properly? I think that's really what's going on here. That big lump of fat in your head needs feeding properly so it can think properly and get us in the right frame of mind, so we can really heal ourselves and understand about that emotional and physical side of keeping well and healthy. I think this has been a little bit of a rant, I know, but it's my journey at the linseed farm, learning about oil and fat, that has actually made me realise how important the emotional side is, and the fact that food has got something to do with that. And I'm very pleased to say that I met Dr. Michael Dixon a couple of years ago at a conference at the Royal Society of Medicine about diet and mental health, I think it was, either that or one of those anyway, somewhere in that area. And he thought I should join the College of Medicine, so I did. So I'm involved in pursuing those ideas, as he thought. We need to join these dots up. And I hope that's been useful for you today, and pass the message on to people. You've got to get the right fat. You need to eat fat to be fit, and it needs to be from pasture-fed animals, and of course from the linseed farm, all of the lovely linseed oil. And never cook with oil. That's really the single most damaging thing you can do to oil. And never eat food that's been cooked with oil. So you can play your part by asking, if you happen to go into a fish and chip shop, ask how they cook their products. And if they say rape oil or some other oil, say, I'm afraid that's really dangerous, and walk away. And if we did that enough, it wouldn't take long before we could get them cooking in lard or dripping or coconut oil if they wanted to cater for vegetarians or vegans. So we have it in our power to do things to make changes. And the reason that, well, I told you before, the reason that cooking with oil is so dangerous from the point of view of cancer, for instance, is it changes how the oil works in your body and it doesn't oxygenate your body. And we knew about that in the 20s, and we've allowed it to carry on. So I think governments are really to blame for allowing things to be done to food that causes harm to us. It's not a question of being a nanny state. It's not a question of saying what you may or may not eat. You can eat what you like, but we must not cook food in a way that's harmful to you. Okay, that's the end of it today, and I hope it's been useful for you. And if you'd like some of my product, nip on to the linseedfarm.co.uk and you can order online, or you can ring us up 01403 730 326. Bye for now.